Today we are focused on fair housing for the California real estate exam, specifically the interplay between the Federal Fair Housing Act and California's own powerful protections, the Unruh Civil Rights Act, the Rumford Fair Housing Act, and the Fair Employment and Housing Act, or FEHA. The exam requires you to know that California law provides significantly broader protections than federal law. While the federal law prohibits discrimination based on race, color, religion, national origin, sex, familial status, and disability, California adds many more protected classes. These include ancestry, marital status, gender identity, gender expression, sexual orientation, and, critically, source of income. The Unruh Civil Rights Act is a key piece of legislation because it prohibits discrimination by all business establishments in California, which includes real estate brokerages and apartment buildings. The Rumford Act, now part of FEHA, specifically targets discrimination in the sale, rental, and financing of housing. An exam question might try to trick you by presenting a scenario involving an owner-occupied single-family home. While federal law has broader exemptions, in California, the exemptions are very narrow, applying only to an owner-occupied single-family home where no more than one person is being rented to, and no discriminatory advertising is used. Let's consider an exam-style example on source of income. A landlord receives two qualified applications. One applicant is a salaried employee, and the other receives a Section 8 housing voucher, which is a form of public assistance. If the landlord rejects the second applicant specifically because they use a voucher, that is illegal discrimination under FEHA. The exam will test your understanding that a landlord cannot advertise no Section 8 or refuse to consider rental assistance as part of an applicant's verifiable income. 3 illegal practices you absolutely must know are steering, blockbusting, and redlining. Steering is when an agent guides a buyer toward or away from certain neighborhoods based on a protected characteristic, like race or familial status. For example, an agent who only shows homes in a particular school district to families with children is engaging in steering. Blockbusting, or panic selling, is inducing homeowners to sell by claiming that the entry of a protected class into the neighborhood will lower property values. Redlining is when a lender refuses to make loans in certain neighborhoods based on the racial or ethnic composition of the area. Disability is another heavily tested area. You must distinguish between a reasonable accommodation and a reasonable modification. A reasonable accommodation is a change in rules or policies, like allowing a service animal in a no-pets building. The landlord must bear the cost, if any. A reasonable modification is a physical change to the property, like installing a ramp or grab bars. The tenant is typically responsible for the cost of the modification. For a mental shortcut, remember this phrase: in California, fair housing is FEHA-ly comprehensive. This reminds you that the Fair Employment and Housing Act, FEHA, is the primary state law, and its protections are far more comprehensive than federal rules, covering unique categories like source of income and gender identity. Don't get caught in an exam trap by only applying the federal standards. For free practice questions, AI-powered explanations, and more exam prep tools, visit openexamprep.com. That's openexamprep, all one word, .com.